All right, everyone, let's go ahead and get started. I am Hallie Crawford. I'm a certified career coach and founder of HallieCrawford.com. And today we are going to be talking about 10 ways to get promoted. Thank you all for being here. We really appreciate your time. And I'm very excited to get started with you today. We are going to go through these 10 tips. By the way, this audio and the webinar itself, the slides, everything is being recorded, so you will receive a recording after our call today. And we are going to have at least a minute or two, hopefully at the end, to answer some questions as well. All right, so let's dive right in. So first of all, I want you to understand and know that we're obviously here to talk about getting promoted, which we all want, right? And just so you know that our coaches have coached professionals all over the world to help them find the right career fit, make a career change or transition, and achieve their career goals like getting a promotion. We've been doing this for over 18 years. I know that sounds crazy, and I look and kind of sound like I'm 12. I'm actually 45. We've been coaching for a very long time. And the tips that we are going to share with you today are the exact same tips that we share and provide to our clients to help them achieve their career goals and get promoted, okay? All right, so first of all, here's the deal. I want you to know I understand that doing something like asking for a promotion, I totally understand that it can feel intimidating or overwhelming for some people. I get that. And I know how hard something like this can be because honestly, sometimes I myself don't feel so confident either. I sometimes suffer from what is called the imposter syndrome. Even though I've been coaching and training for over 18 years, I still experience this every once in a while. Sometimes, for example, I feel my business is successful because of luck rather than hard work or talent. We are fantastic and great at what we do. Our satisfaction rating with clients is 98%, but still sometimes I have these doubts or fears that can creep in every once in a while, and it can make me feel less confident and sometimes less willing or able to step out of my comfort zone to do something like it may feel to you asking for a promotion. So one of the first things I want you to know is that I totally get it. And this is one of the obstacles that we're going to talk about today, as well as the 10 tips we'll give you to help you overcome these obstacles, as well as go in and ask for that promotion and prepare for it in advance. Okay, so here's our agenda. This can be how to get promoted in 2018, or if you're looking to have this happen in the next year, 2019 as well. We're going to talk about 3 common obstacles that prevent people from being successful at getting that promotion. We're going to go through the 10 tips to get that next promotion. And we do, by the way, if you take a look at the slide here, we do recommend that you take these steps in the order that they're presented because they do build upon each other. And then the last quick thing at the end, we'll talk about 4 basics to avoid to keep yourself in the running for the promotion. So 4 things you don't want to do. That can create like a negative impact on your boss or on your teammates that could get you out of the running or boot you out of the running for that promotion. And by the way, too, if anyone would like a copy of this presentation as a PDF, meaning the presentation itself, the PowerPoint, please feel free to email admin@HallieCrawford.com and we would be happy to share that with you. We'll just send it to you via email. Okay, so let's dive into the obstacles first. So here's the deal. Why is it important to address these obstacles first? Because for a lot of us, applying for a promotion can feel overwhelming and it can feel and actually be very competitive to get it, okay? So here's a couple of facts here on the slide. An average corporate job can attract up to 250 resumes, a ton of them. And obviously out of those picked, there's only a few that are gonna be picked for an interview and then get the job. And around 51%, and this is a recent Glassdoor survey, that 51% of employees are considering a new job. So there's a lot of people out there that are actually looking for and considering new positions. So it can feel overwhelming and competitive, especially when you read statistics like this with so many other people looking for new jobs. And it can freak you out. But we don't want you to go there. We want you to think about these statistics instead and focus on how many organizations are going to have a shortfall in the minimum number of leaders in the next 5 years, okay? and how many managers currently feel like they have the talent they need, okay? So there's also statistics on the other end of the stick that the economy is doing so much better. It's booming, and qualified leaders and managers and professionals are needed, okay? So focus on these statistics instead as much as you can. Now, what happens to people when they're thinking about applying for a promotion or they're interested in doing so, but they just don't, make it happen? Here are 3 common obstacles to applying for a promotion that we find with our clients the majority of the time. Number 1, if you take a look at this slide here, is unclear direction. Do I want to stay in my job? Do I want to stay at this organization even? I'm not really sure what direction I want to head, so I just kind of stay put. The second one is a lack of confidence, or the imposter syndrome, like I was just talking about a minute ago. Some of us might feel like, I don't deserve a promotion. I'm not qualified for the next, for that next level up, whatever it is. And so we just kind of fall back on staying where we are in our comfort zone. And for some of us, the third obstacle is just flat out, I don't have enough time to deal with this. Procrastination in some way, shape, or form. I'm not ready. I don't know the steps I need to take, whatever it is. So the first thing I want you all to do, and then we'll get into the first tip in our next slide here, is I want you all right now to get out your pen and paper, please, and identify and write down what is your biggest obstacle to asking for or going for that promotion. Is it one of these things on the slide here, or is it a different one? So write that down for us so that you know clearly what's going on for you, okay? And if you need additional assistance with the fears or whatever it is going on after you go through and we go through the presentation today, feel free to contact me for a free strategy session. I'd be happy to talk to you about your obstacles and give you some tools and advice for how to overcome those, each of them. Okay, so let's keep going here and talk about tip number 1. And this is an obvious one, but it's something that too many people don't do. And then they come to us and they're like, oh my gosh, I need my resume updated and I need it done tomorrow. And as you can imagine, that is really difficult. It takes time to update your resume. So it's better to, first of all, take stock of where you are in terms of your career path, what experience you have to date. Make sure you update your resume that way. Establish your goals that you want to achieve, though, too. Is it a promotion at your current organization or at a different one? And refine your resume. You want to update it to reflect your accomplishments to date. Look at and think about, okay, what the position is and what the timeline is that you want to go for this. And personalize, obviously, your resume for the position that you want. We also recommend, by the way, that you save a master copy of your resume that you don't touch, that has all of your information on it, that you can then create other resumes from it when you're applying for a promotion or for different jobs, okay? And we also always suggest that you have a PDF copy of your resume that you send out so that the formatting doesn't get goofy when someone else opens it in Word, and also a text version that if you are applying for a promotion, but it's a new job, if you will, at a different organization, you have a text version to plop into that job board, okay? And the thing is, too, that we suggest keeping your resume up to date every 6 months. I know some of you are like, oh my gosh, are you serious? But yeah, we definitely recommend this because there are things that you're going to forget over time, and words and language that you need to use that would be fresh in your mind because it's a recent project you completed, or maybe you got a testimonial from someone and you need to save that in order to use it in your presentation for your promotion, or even put it on your LinkedIn profile. Whatever it is, you want to keep this up to date so you keep it fresh and it's top of mind. As part of this, let's look at tip number 2, is create an accomplishments document. This is what I was just talking about a second ago. You want to have a running list of all of your accomplishments just on your desktop at work or at home, whatever. And keep it accessible and easy to update so that you can have different sections on it. We suggest having it broken out into sections. What are the measurable results you've achieved in your job so far, okay? And measurable meaning numbers and quantifiable. Write down testimonials or compliments that you've gotten from your boss or teammates or clients. Write down and list any awards or classes that you've taken or projects you've completed, because these are things that you can reference in your resume and or in your presentation to ask for that promotion. You want to have this evidence, okay? And it's a great idea to put down a calendar reminder recurring for 10 minutes every month to review this accomplishments document. make sure it's up to date and clean and easy to read, okay? Tip number 3, and this one may seem obvious, tell your boss that you want to advance and even ask for projects to fill gaps. Now this, of course, depends on your situation with your boss. In some cases, it may not be appropriate to do this because, for example, if you're going to get a job at somewhere else, or if the promotion would be taking over their job and that would be, distressing to them for any reason, like you want to tell the appropriate person if needed that you want to advance. But the reason why we bring this up, even though it may seem obvious, is that so many times people just make the assumption that, well, of course they know I want to advance. Everybody does, right? No, some people actually don't want to become a manager or don't want to manage people. So it's not always the most obvious thing to your supervisor. So you want to tell them that you'd like to move up. And from reviewing your resume and where you are now, the taking stock, like we talked about in tip number 1, you want to identify also as part of this gaps in your qualifications for that promotion and that next job. Create a list of gaps in 2 areas, experience and education or skills. And actually, I would say these would be 3 areas, experience, education, and skills that need to be filled. And create a promotions document for yourself just for a draft notes of what you need to be saying and kind of promoting and putting into your presentation when it's time to have that meeting, okay? So identify and ask for projects to fill those gaps. Figure out if you need to take a class on your own, like at a place like General Assembly. They have courses here in Atlanta and all over the country. Or is it something on lynda.com, Lynda.com, and is it something there that you need to take an online course? And make sure, obviously, as you go in your promotions document, track your progress towards your goals. So when it's time to go speak with the appropriate person, HR or your boss, about that promotion, you know where you stand. And part of this is when you talk with them is you want to check in and say, hey, am I on the right track? Are these the things that I actually do need to be working towards in order to, get that next promotion and move up, okay? Tip number 4 is to enhance your skill set, okay? This one is important in terms of considering coursework to enhance your qualifications. And again here, you could ask your boss or a mentor or someone who's at another organization but like is an expert in your industry maybe, for ideas about where you can take some classes and which ones are valuable. These are some examples on the slide here of websites that you can take online courses, but also look at industry-specific associations to see if they have any certifications that can be offered that you may be missing, okay? You can look at certifications in general, like project management, but also industry-specific, okay? And you can also check out like local community college courses. There's lots of different ways that you can, beef up your skill set, okay? The 2 other things that we recommend as part of this, if you look down at the bottom of the slide here, the last 2 bullet points, is one of the things we recommend in terms of preparing to ask for that promotion is also to research other people's LinkedIn profiles of people who are in the jobs already that you want to be in, okay? And as part of this, you check out what qualifications and relevant education they have in order to, get a sense of where you might be missing some different pieces. And then finally, I would go ahead and at this point, conduct informational interviews with those in higher level positions, whether it's a friend of a friend or, family member or, a mutual connection or a second connection from someone else, to get a sense of what you need to do to beef up your skill set in terms of soft skills as well as hard skills. And we'll talk about those a little bit more in a few minutes here. But just keep in mind before we get to tip number 5 here that it's not just about like, oh, I need to learn this new software or, I need to get up to speed on understanding data analysis a little bit better and, pivot tables in Excel, for example. In a lot of ways, asking for the promotion is going to be about also your soft skills, if you will, your leadership skills, your management skills, those things too. We'll talk about those more in a minute, but I want you to keep both in mind, please, everybody. So tip number 5, if you take a look at this next slide here, is you want to take initiative, okay? And you want to show them your teammates, your supervisor, etc., that you're ready for the promotion like right now. Be the person that is ready for the promotion right away. Work on tasks that you haven't been asked to. Offer solutions to problems. Don't just point out problems and challenges and issues, but what are some solutions that you would recommend? Suggest improvements to processes in areas where things need to be more efficient. Observe and emulate those people at your company who tend to be admired and are successful. What are the qualities that they have that you could adopt, if you will? So pay attention to that as well. Create a list of, as part of that, those soft skills you want to improve. Are they really calm under pressure? Are they really great at prioritizing, their tasks or their time? Great at managing their team, or something completely different like leading meetings really effectively and communicating effectively, or giving presentations. And the final tip on here, I have to give credit to my mother for this one. She has always said to me, dress for the job you want, not the job you have. So you also want to dress professionally and for the job that you're going for. So take it up a notch in the next, 6 to 12 months up until the time that, you're asking for that promotion. It will make you feel better, and it will make an impression as well. So tip number 6 is to be confident. So here's the deal with this. There's action steps that we can take, tangible, practical things like updating our resume, etc. But also we need to adopt the right attitude that we deserve and are worthy of and are ready for that promotion. Attitude is critical. Here's the deal. If you look on the slide, your attitude affects your actions, which in turn affect your outcome. We all know that when we feel good and we're on our game at our best, the action steps that we take are better because they're better action items in and of themselves. We're more creative. We think of the right things to do, but we also implement them more effectively too. 85% of our clients say that they are their biggest obstacle to their career goals. They always say, or the majority of the time at least, that they are the ones that are getting in their own way, okay? So in terms of if you feel like the imposter syndrome is an issue for you, okay, in terms of that specifically, but we can also think about this related to confidence, if you will, is here are some possible action items to kind of get you started. So I want you all to write these down, please. One of the things that is helpful for lack of confidence or imposter syndrome is writing down some positive affirmations. What are the things that you have accomplished in your life and in your career specifically that you need to remind yourself of every day and post it on your bathroom mirror? Pay attention to your body language in meetings, in networking events, everything else. Are you standing up straight and confidently or slouching over? Adopt a more positive, confident body posture, if you will. In doing so, I promise you, is going to make you feel better and more confident. We do this all the time with our clients. Adopt a confident body posture, and you will naturally feel more confident automatically. And then finally, another way to deal with this confidence and improve it is to create a running list, or actually start with a list of your past accomplishments, even from childhood all the way to now. And when our clients do this, they feel so much better because there's a huge list, of course, and they realize, gosh, there are a lot of things I've accomplished. It boosts their confidence. Tip number 7 is to be a leader and be a leader now. Here's the deal. In addition to taking initiative and, adopting that posture and confidence, if you will, of the person that deserves the promotion, you want to start working on your leadership skills. And these are things you need to start paying attention to. Motivating others and encouraging them, taking a leadership role in meetings or in your team, handling conflict effectively and starting to learn how to do that, and developing your emotional intelligence as part of all of this. This emotional intelligence book, you've probably heard of it before. It's fantastic. And EI, emotional intelligence, is still a buzzword in the corporate world in terms of it's, emotional intelligence, everyone says, is just as, and in some cases, if not more important than just, mental intelligence or intellect. Because if you can't communicate your ideas, and if you can't get them across to other people and handle conflict and everything else, you can be as smart as, as a whip, but it's not going to matter, okay? So start to work towards being a leader. And I don't even know if smart as a whip is a saying, but there we go. I coined it for today, if not. I wanted to share with you all just so you know, in terms of leadership skills, we're going to do another slide on here in just a second on leadership. In addition to, leadership skills and the 3 C's at the top here, contacts, credibility, and competence. There was a survey conducted recently by the undercoverrecruiter.com, it's a great website, of the top 7 qualities that employers look for. And what I want you all to get and understand, this goes back to the soft skills that we discussed before. These items are the things on the list. It's not just about, I know this software, I know how to, perform data analysis or financial analysis. The soft skills are the things that are going to help you be one cut above the competition in terms of that promotion. So you need to develop these as well. And by the way, on the next slide here, this is a great tool from Dimensions International. I can give you the website if anybody wants it, just send me an email. But it's a great executive consulting firm, and this is their leadership wheel that they use, the top 10 leadership skills that are the most important. And one way to identify where you need to improve and where you're doing well in order to sell yourself on those things is to rate yourself in each area, scale of 1 to 10 here, okay? And identify top 3 areas for improvement or development. And I would highly encourage you all, by the way, to ask other people to fill this out for you too, to get feedback from them on, are you really on the right track? And are you able to be like objective about yourself? I would encourage you and push you to take that challenge, okay? All right, so those are top 10 leadership skills that you need to be paying attention to. Really quickly, if anyone needs additional advice on anything that we've talked about, you need help with your leadership skills and, oh, how do I improve those? As I mentioned earlier in the webinar, please feel free to contact me at hallie@halliecrawford.com to get a free career strategy session. It's with me directly. I'd be happy to help you with advice on any career goal, even if it's resume or something completely different from today. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. I'd be happy to chat with you. All right, so let's talk about the last couple of tips here. So tip number 8 is, as part of demonstrating that you are a leader and a leader now that can handle that promotion, is ask for and implement constructive criticism on a regular basis from your boss, from your teammates, anyone else that it would be appropriate to do so. Too often we don't do this. We just go through our, our day, and we don't ask for, proactively, hey, could I do this better? Do you see anything that I need to improve in terms of this project or anything else? And do you have any advice on it? This is not about looking incompetent, everyone. This is about being confident enough to ask for constructive criticism. You want to choose the right person who's going to be positive and helpful to you, and someone who you trust their opinion, of course, but ask for it. And keep in mind that the incorrect response to asking for this, or even if you get unsolicited opinions and advice, which we all do, make sure that you're not dismissing it, blaming, or criticizing the other person, and work towards getting better at accepting it, implementing it, that criticism. Obviously filter it through the lens of where it's coming from and how accurate it is, but be open to the fact that it could be, and work towards improving in that area, okay? So being open to criticism and feedback, it's a big deal in terms of being an effective leader. So you want to demonstrate you're able to do that right now. Tip number 9 is to find a mentor. A mentor can help you all along this path of preparing to ask for that promotion, where the gaps might be. They can give you constructive feedback on what you need to improve. They can give you advice about qualities and skills. Also, though, if you look on the slide here, insider knowledge about what's crucial or new in your industry. You may already know, which is great, but they may give you some validation or a couple of additional tips. And also, they can give you an opinion on your career progress and what's realistic, okay? Tip number 10 is, we're not going to spend a ton of time here on prepping for and conducting the meeting. We will do another webinar on this coming up in the next few months, actually, because I've had people ask for that. In terms of preparing and conducting the meeting, here's a couple of quick ideas to get you started. Like we said, update your resume, accomplishments document. Create like a brag book that you can hand to them that has your PowerPoint presentation in there, maybe your Strengths Finder assessment results For example, these are the strengths that I have that will play well in this position. Do your salary research as well on Indeed.com, Glassdoor.com, and survey your peers a little bit. But we do suggest that you create a quick PowerPoint deck that you can hand to them in person, hard copy. But also, if it's appropriate, you can have it up on a screen as well, kind of depending on how formal or informal you need to be, depending on the culture of your organization. Remember, during the course of the meeting, be confident, present your case, give that presentation as you go. And in terms of next steps, make sure at the end you actually ask for it. Like, this is the position that I'm wanting. Do you have any questions? And are there any concerns that you have that, would prevent you from giving me this promotion? Ask them directly. And if they say you're not ready yet and it's not an immediate option, ask them what the probability is and what the timeline is. Don't forget to ask for it at the end and find out from them if they have any concerns about it, because guys, that's your chance to address those concerns right then and there. And if you just close the meeting and walk out and you don't have any follow-up or feedback from them, you're never going to know what's going to happen. Okay? These are some 4 basics to avoid. They're obvious ones, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on them, but they would boot you out of the running for the promotion. You want to make sure that you have a positive attitude, you're reliable, that you avoid handling personal matters at work, and anything unethical, obviously, too. You don't want to do that, okay? All right, so let's go ahead. This is our agenda, just to go through the steps that we went through today. We talked about obstacles, those 10 tips, and some basics to avoid. I'm going to leave this career strategy session slide up in case anyone wants to contact me to chat with me for a few minutes. But what I want you all to do right now, and I will field some questions. I'm going to open the chat box here. We've got just a minute to answer. If anyone wants to ask a question in the chat box, please feel free. But I also want you all to, I'm actually going to change to the next slide here. I want you all to identify 2 action steps that you will take in the next week towards working towards this promotion, okay? Ask your coworkers or employees for feedback. Update your resume. Talk to your boss. Create that accomplishments document. Do 2 very specific things and write them down on your piece of paper right now so that you can make this happen and you have something tangible to work towards. And the last thing I want you all to share is, or to think about, I want to share with you is, this is the quote that always makes me kind of push past my comfort zone when I need to and take that risk when I need to. It's the greatest risk in life is not taking one. So keep that in mind if you're feeling hesitant to move forward for whatever reason. We did have a question about the name of the executive coaching company. I'm going to put that here. It's Development Dimensions International. Sorry, hold on. Development Dimensions International. I'm going to put that in the chat box, but just so you all know, I will include that in our follow-up email as well. So remember, if you would like the PowerPoint presentation, just shoot me a quick email. I will pull up the previous slide here for just a second. So you've got my email address here at the bottom, and you will get a recording of this webinar. It should be by the end of the day today, so you have it, and feel free to share that with anyone that you think would be in need of it, or it would be helpful too. All right, everyone, thank you so much. If you have an additional question, I've got 1 more second here. Feel free to type it in. Otherwise, thank you all for your time today, and have a great Labor Day weekend.